So whenever life gives you that platform and the choices you make is how we are here today.
For the first 10 years or 15 years, I think I was completely immersed in my work because I wanted to learn marketing. I wanted to learn consumer behavior. I wanted to build brands. Harry, it's not our capabilities which matter. It is the choices that we make.
Though we have heard a lot of stories about Mr. Tata, what was your first encounter with him like?
The first time that I met Mr. Ratan Tata.
From building beloved brands at the Tata Group to penning national bestsellers, a long-time Tata brand custodian and a best-selling author, to now a board-level leader. He's also been on the Forbes top 10 global CMOs, a columnist whose stories make businesses feel humane and magical, a foodie whose LinkedIn posts have landed Mysore Park boxes at his home. I want to know the tricks about them. And a storyteller who makes life a little more magical, meaningful, with the simplicity in his writings and his ability to laugh at himself. Today, I have with me someone whose books span many genres, from business storytelling to marketing, humor, slice of life stories. 4 of his books, Tata Stories, Office Secrets, Tata Log, and Jamshedji Tata's Powerful Learnings for Corporate Success, have been national bestsellers and translated into several languages. Harish Bhat, the real leader who has the ability to turn a cup of tea into masterclass for business storytelling, marketing, and give them meaning. Harish, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Riddhi. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Same here.
Thank you. I love speaking with you and look forward to Thought in a Dot.
Yes, Harish, as you know, Thought in a Dot as a podcast, we are in the second year of running it. It's been divided into 3 parts, Kisse, Kahani and Kirdar, which is content, communication and connections that help us excel in life. And after meeting you and interacting with you for a while, I wanted to add one more thing in today's episode, which is choices.
Love
And Hindi, if I may say, kasauti. So whenever life gives you that platform and the choices you make is how we are here today. So thank you for choosing us also for today.
Oh, my pleasure, Riddhi. I think choices are very important in life, even before you put that C there. I still remember, I'm a big Harry Potter fan.
Oh, same here. That makes the 2 of us.
Okay, and those are lovely books. I've read them out to my daughter. I've read them for myself. And there is one scene I think it's in the first Harry Potter book, where Harry Potter is speaking to Dumbledore, the principal. And what Dumbledore tells him has stayed in my mind since then. Dumbledore says, Harry, it's not our capabilities which matter. It is the choices that we make. It is the choices really that define us.
True.
Okay. The choice that both Veena and I made to marry each other has changed both our lives forever. And the choice that I made to become a marketer, or the choice that I made to become an author and a writer, has changed my life forever.
And they've not all been easy choices, if I may put them in that way.
Yes, so I agonize a lot before I make a choice. And all the time my mind is swirling, should this be done? Should that be done? But once I make a choice, then I tend to stick with it. Therefore, there is merit in the choice being carefully made, because you have then thought through all the pros and cons before coming to that decision. So, being an author, for instance, I'm very passionate about writing.
Yeah.
On the prose side, I think I'm able to narrate stories very well.
Yes.
I enjoy the process of writing and the written word. And of course, I feel good being called an author. But on the other side, being an author is also very
monetarily lucrative.
It's not a very monetarily lucrative thing at all. It's also a very lonely profession. You are with your laptop, computer, and your mind, and you don't want people to interrupt your thinking.
It's a tapasya.
It's a tapasya, but your tapasyas have to be done alone. You don't do tapasyas in a group dance. Okay,
True.
So it's lonely.
Right.
And sometimes you get stuck. Authoring and writing is a very creative profession.
Yep.
So sometimes you get good ideas, sometimes you don't. And it's also largely a solo profession. You know, you have to be the author, you have to be the marketer, you have to be the salesperson for your book, you have to be everything for your book.
Right.
So there are pros and cons to it, but I made the choice because on balance, I said, this is what I would like to do. You know, particularly post my retirement from my full-time job, but even before that.
Right.
Now having made the choice, I'm enjoying it.
Hmm.
I know all the flip sides, but I knew those flip sides before I entered this profession.
I think the next book can actually be about the choice of being an author and how to.
Yes, I think the process of making a choice, Riddhi, is a very challenging process. You know, some people are able to make choices instinctively. You know, I need to do this. But that instinct also comes from years of preparation.
True.
Which enable you to make that choice. And for some people like me, we are given to agonizing over choices.
Overthinking is my full-time job.
So my professor at college, at business school, often warned us not to get into analysis paralysis. So we shouldn't analyze too much, but I would still not be able to make a choice instinctively. For me, I have to think through a choice before it is.
I think it's also to do with the value system. I think now that you say it, I remember writing about this very thing that, right from school, even before going and asking something to the teacher, I used to discuss it with my friend that, okay, वो ऐसा बोलेंगी तो मैं ऐसा बोलूंगी. Then she'll say this, then I'll answer that. And then we'll go to the teacher and actually have it live. So I think my choices have always been in a way, I've always,
Discussing with others.
yeah, it has always been that I have first imagined the conversation beforehand and then gone ahead and executed
That is true.
it.
And I think there is no value judgment here on which method of making choices is better.
True.
Okay, some people make instinctive choices beautifully.
True.
But
as you say, that comes with experience.
That comes with experience.
That's not something that can.
It's also, it's also the way our minds work. Some of us, we try to process many variables while making a choice. For some people, they just look at the primary one or two variables and say, this is why I'll make the choice. And whatever happens with the rest, I'm not worried. So each of us has our own, method of choosing.
I think they've started in a very beautiful way, like actually in the middle of the career. So the choice of being an author was made, I think, 25 years after your professional journey, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So let me put it this way, Riddhi. I have always been a writer at heart.
Right.
Okay. I used to write when I was a schoolboy. In fact, the first story I published was at the age of 14. It was called The Bridge, and it won a prize in the Shankar's International Writing Competition.
Beautiful.
And my editors used to push me very hard. But जो भी हो लिख देता था उसमें.
No, but I think that's the best time to actually experiment, explore, and go on.
And the Pilani campus nurtured my writing a lot. I was part of the English language society and so forth. Thereafter, when I joined my job with the Tatas, for the first 10 years or 15 years, I think I was completely immersed in my work. Because I wanted to learn marketing. I wanted to learn consumer behavior. I wanted to build brands. I wanted to build my credibility in my profession. And all that took time. So during that time, I think writing was given a little bit of a lighter touch in my life. It didn't go away, but it had a lighter touch. But as I came into my 40s, certainly I felt the urge to write. I think it's somewhere ingrained within me. My mother also used to write for Kannada magazines. Her grandfather was a poet.
Oh, wow.
So I think somewhere that urge expresses itself.
Yeah.
And once an urge within you expresses itself, really, it's very difficult to keep it down.
True. It's not easy to copy.
If there's a creative urge within you, otherwise you feel stifled.
True.
Therefore, the urge to write became stronger and stronger. And by the time I was 47, 48 years of age, I had this indescribable urge to write a book.
Yeah.
That is how
the
choice came right in front of me.
Yeah.
And that was a tough choice to make.
Again, one more thing. I think I'll make you rewind a bit more. You just mentioned that, from BITS Pilani, you joined the Tata Administrative Services and, and then learned marketing and everything. Was it marketing as a career choice at that time also somewhat of a maverick choice to make?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about 1987.
Yes, Riddhi. So from after BITS Pilani, I went to business school.
Right, yeah.
At Ahmedabad.
Yes.
And then I was recruited into the Tata administrative service.
Yes.
Believe me, when I joined the Tatas, I did not know that I wanted to become a marketer. I had done my post graduation in business, doing courses in marketing, in finance, and information systems. I loved all those subjects. And for the first 2 or 3 years of my career, I worked as executive assistant to Mr. R.K. Krishna Kumar, who at that time was the joint managing director and then the managing director of Tata Tea, which was a general management kind of role, anchoring the MD's office and assisting the managing director of the company.
Yeah, now that you call founder's office.
Now, what you call founder's office,
Yes, now that the role is like a
at
full
that
time.
time, it was called the executive assistant to the managing director.
Right.
So that role involved everything. But over the course of the next 4-5 years, I found myself falling in love with marketing.
Right.
I had to undertake a few projects as part of the MD's office. Some of those projects were in marketing and sales. And in my second or third year, I said, this is a good profession because it involves understanding the psychology of consumers, which I like. It involves the creative profession of creating brands, creating advertising, creating marketing campaigns, which I like.
Right.
That creativity was very important and very nurturing for me. And it also involved, putting in place 5-6 variables. When you design the marketing mix, all those have to come together. Some of them are creative calls, some of them are data-driven calls, some of them are analytical calls. I loved the process of doing that. I also loved the fact that if you're a marketer, you can talk as much as you want. No one stops.
That makes the 2%.
No one stops you. Because you see, if you're a finance person, for instance, people will wonder why you're talking so much. But marketers, people are fine with the.
I think the gift for gab and marketing, I think that kind of profession matches each other in compliments. I think teachers and marketers, two people can talk as much as they want.
And authors.
Okay, that I'm still too excited.
And authors as well. I can say that because I've just come out of speaking as an author at a Lit Fest today. But because of all those reasons, I think it was my third or fourth year of my career that I said marketing is what I would like to do. And I used to, my first role, I used to head sales and distribution in Andhra Pradesh. And also talking to people in the field, talking to distributors, talking to stockists, talking to salespeople. I just loved that.
Understanding the rubric of
it all was. It also gave me a lot of opportunity to travel.
Today's day and age, everyone, when you sit in a marketing classroom, so I think when we met the first time, I told you that I don't hold any marketing degree. And I have been a literature student, and I switched from literature to, I think I was a journalist. After the journalism degree, I moved to Bombay, and that's when social media was very new.
But I remember our meeting in the LinkedIn office in Bangalore.
At the LinkedIn office.
And I remember how well you spoke at the LinkedIn office in Bangalore, and I admired you for that. And I also think, Riddhi, that, more people should do their studies in art and literature. We have too many people coming into the corporate world who are full of engineering and MBAs.
So that creative skill of reading between the lines, of being in that moment, of valuing that little things that are happening in and around you is something that I've seen slowly dwindling.
Absolutely, because when you write a critical piece on a Shakespeare play or on a Premchand novel, what are you doing? You're analyzing those characters. You're analyzing the choices they made. You're analyzing why a certain dynamic in that play in Hamlet or in Seva Sadan happened in a particular manner. And when you're doing that, you're actually observing people through the pages.
We're drawing analogies.
And by doing that, you're becoming a better student of the human race. And that is so essential in whatever work we do. In whatever work we do in a corporate, the ability to work with people, the ability to understand people is so important. And I'm not sure that comes through engineering textbooks or MBA textbooks. In fact, in fact, I don't think textbooks hold too much people observation, gyan.
True. No, it's all about real connections. And I remember when we were in the journalism classroom, just to stop you there for 1 second, we were told that everybody, and I remember Mr. Sarkar, Professor Sarkar was the HOD at IIMC at that time. And he entered the classroom and he just said one line that look at each other who's sitting next to you, and they're all contacts.
Yes.
And they're all connections. And from where you are today, you might want to fight with them and kill each other for competition or whatever. But remember, these are the people who will be there. And today, most of the brand heads or anybody from that classroom is actually leading one or the other media institution.
Wonderful.
So I don't think I have ever opened my marketing or my journalism textbooks, but I have time and again called and said, okay, you are in action show, can you connect me to this person? Or you are there, I just want to understand how you do it. So I think people teach you more.
No doubt about it, Riddhi. And it's people and the stories of people. And what's written in the best novels of this world. Okay, take R.K. Narayan, take Salman Rushdie, take Arundhati Roy.
Your favorite Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Garcia Marquez, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. All these people write about other people. And when they write about other people, those insights are invaluable. So I would rather, if I were asked to take 5 books with me to an island, I would choose these authors, marvelous authors of fiction, rather than carrying any textbook with me. What will I do with a textbook on an island? Batao. So, but
these students.
I won't even have students, and textbooks. Many textbooks today are so sterile in how they teach you. We need stories, Riddhi, in our life.
If you observe, the textbooks also haven't evolved.
Textbooks haven't evolved. Textbooks are living in the past.
We are still with the Kotlers of the world. We still have the same, because tastes won't change.
Yeah, but the point is that, do you remember, does anyone in this world remember what textbooks were used 500 years ago? You don't. But you do remember Shakespeare. You do remember Mahabharata and Ramayana.
Yes, we do remember all of it.
Mahabharata and Ramayana. You do remember the lovely stories and epics from all parts of the world. Stories are the currency of human imagination.
True.
Stories are the currency of human learning. Textbooks play a very, very subsidiary role. If you had asked me to reinvent my student life again today, I would spend more time reading storybooks and less time reading textbooks.
Exactly. I don't remember a single trigonometry formula, but I remember the face on the wall from...
Yeah. It is very good that you don't remember a trigonometry formula. What would you do with it in your current profession?
Yeah. Now we've started a very interesting conversation. I don't even know about the flow of the questions. You said that it's the stories about the people that are actually the most important part. And what fascinates me the most, Harish, is the fact that how you tell stories of the businesses. I often, when I am pitching to the leaders or telling the leaders that, or interacting with them, some of them are, a little hesitant to put themselves out there. And I often tell them that, would you trust a certain person over a brand? And they'll always take the person and not the brand. Do you think storytelling will become easier or difficult with the advent of ChatGPT?
I think mediocre storytelling is going to be all around us, what they call AI slop. Okay?
Yes.
Because mediocre storytelling you can get by appealing to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT will give you some stories. So I think we are going to be flush with mediocre stories, with stories which look so similar, as though they have come out of the same kitchen. Okay.
Yes.
Because when a dish comes out of the kitchen, it has a certain taste.
So because ingredients
are the same. Okay. So mediocre storytelling we are going to be flush about.
Right.
I think we are also going to be awash in a sea of poor storytelling, because there are a number of people who will just use mediocre prompts also. So you're not going to get very good stories out of that. But uniquely outstanding storytelling still comes from the human imagination. For instance, my good friend Piyush Pandey, who passed away a few days ago, I used to admire him for his storytelling prowess. Each advertisement that he crafted appealed to our heads and hearts because he could tell that story very, very simply. Mile Sur Mera Tumhara was one of them. The Asian Paints, Har Ghar Kuch Kehta Hai. What a beautiful storytelling. The Fevicol commercials. He made a beautiful film for us at Tata. bringing out the nation-building core of the Tata Group. Told very simply, we actually launched it at Tata IPL in 2022, but it appealed to heads and hearts equally. But he was a master at storytelling, and that is what. But he also had his feet firmly on the ground. He understood Indian culture well. He understood Indian idiom well, and therefore he was able to narrate those stories in such a simple, appealing manner.
And that also brings us back to the fact that I remember reading about him, and I also read your mother's the post you written.
My mother had a wonderful conversation with.
Very moving post as well.
Can you imagine? You know, a 86-year-old woman.
And I think mothers are like that.
Yeah, talking to Piyush Pandey, who is the advertising superstar of our country, and they managed to have a wonderful conversation.
I think that's the beauty also of real storytellers, of people who observe. They have this certain sense of connecting to other people, that they can strike that conversation. And he had that in him, that he could observe, because though I did not have the good fortune of interacting with him while he was here, but what stayed with me was that he managed to connect with the length and breadth of the country.
He did. And that is because I'm going back to my earlier answer to you. Observation becomes so important. And Piyush was a wonderful observer. He used to tell me how in his younger days he used to travel by train so that he could observe people. You know, compared to trains and the richness of a train journey, a flight journey tends to be a little sterile. You know, you get up at one and get out at the other airport. Sometimes you can get a
You get interesting people on.
Sometimes you
so that's my favorite tough part. I have met some fantastic people on flights also.
And that is,
but that's very rare, far and few.
But in a train, you always get 8-10 people sitting. You chat with them. You observe people. You observe what they eat, who comes in, who goes out. So Piyush Pandey was a very, very good observer of people. In fact, he used to believe in the power of observing people more than in the power of observing data alone.
Yeah, I remember one of them writing recently that he said that you go and ask your parents how they liked it, and they are the best reviewer.
And one person, you know, I was in a conversation with him in Kolkata, Riddhi, and one person asked him, what do you have to say about data and computers? And he said, if you keep looking at computers, if you keep looking down at computers, you'll get data. But it is when you raise your face and look above that you'll see the world around you. आप कंप्यूटर झांकोगे तो डेटा ही मिलेगा, सर ऊपर उठाओगे तो आप दुनिया देखेंगे.
Exactly.
So this was he said.
And he had seen दुनिया. मैंने दुनिया देखी थी, इसलिए हमको भी दिखाई.
Yes.
Because I don't think a single campaign, like my mother was asking that, okay, which ones? And then it was like, everything said, अरे सारे उन्हीं के थे. And like, yeah, सारे उन्हीं के थे. So, you know, to understand and to think that one person could come up with, you know, of course there are teams behind, but this was all one person's work is in itself a...
And this is true, Riddhi, of all great creative artists. I think the best writers in the world. Okay, I recently read Arundhati Roy's memoirs, Mother Mary Comes.
Yeah.
Full of such lovely observations about the people in our lives. Lovely observations which also strike home, because those observations are communicated so beautifully. So I think, going back to your earlier question, I think storytelling is a very, very important art. It is underrated today. It's important for marketing. It's important for internal communication. It's important for external communication. It's important to carry your teammates along with you. It's important when you pitch, do an elevator pitch to your boss. It's important when you make a boardroom presentation. It's important when you pitch to your client.
Right.
It's important in virtually, it's important when you're pitching for
life skill. It's important to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
With the person sitting, I think, and that's slowly becoming the most difficult task to do, Harish.
This is
with everyone being on their phone, you don't know how to strike an interesting conversation with the person sitting next to you.
This is true, Riddhi, because people are getting addicted to their digital devices.
I think I'm one of them, by the way.
No, but the digital addiction also happens to me. I'm not saying that I'm exempt from it or I'm insulated from it, but it's important to control it, because human fulfillment and human happiness in the long term doesn't leap out of the screens of your mobile phone. It comes when two humans connect with each other. And it comes when two humans talk about topics of common interest. Either they could have an intellectual conversation, or they could have an emotional conversation, or they could have maybe a party conversation, a casual conversation. But whatever it be, conversations are the lifeblood from where new ideas flow.
Yes.
Um, uh,
All the eureka moments come
all
out of the
eureka
best
moments come from
conversations
the
or
best
midnight
conversations.
conversations
That's right.
that are happening.
So,
True.
so this getting addicted to digital devices is probably the worst affliction of our times. And I'm not saying we can get away from it, because digital devices are also very useful, and
That they need to.
they are devices of productivity. But I think we need to ensure that we don't lose ourselves in those devices. Um, that is very unfortunate if we do, and that doesn't help your your storytelling skills at all.
Of course, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Coming to one of the things you just mentioned that his stories always found their way home, and I think your home always finds the way to the stories. so,
Yes, this is true.
so I want to know, how does Veena react to all of it when she sees that all the stories have this mention, and you have this ability to laugh at yourself, and bringing all of that out. Like, one of my favorites is the story of you walking in the rain and you telling you that it's not age appropriate. And I think there's so many of them, but that is something that has stayed with me in the recent past. So how does she, you always need someone to back you up. So I'll just divide the question into two parts. One, how difficult or easy is it to find those stories and capture them, and also have the courage to put it out on social media? Because, see, there is a level of vulnerability. And second, how has Veena shaped the journey overall throughout?
So, Veena is my partner in crime and my partner in life, and she is the love of my life. So, in our day-to-day interactions, we also have our arguments, we also have our fights, we also have uh, our moments of joy, we also have our moments of togetherness. But when you step out a little bit and look at everything that happens on a day-to-day basis in our homes or even in our offices, there is so much humorous content in it.
Right.
Okay, there is so much humorous content in it because as human beings, I don't behave logically all the time. Sometimes my behavior is absurd.
Yeah.
Or verging on the absurd.
Yes.
Sometimes the kind of things that we do every day.
When you say that your experiences, stories that shared, and you've also experimented a lot in your life. Now I want to come back, get our train back to the journey of
Okay.
the 38 years with the Tata Group. When you had the initial years that you mentioned with the marketing
Yeah.
career choice, I think the biggest break after that was Tata Tea.
Yes. So I started my career selling and marketing tea and coffee.
Right.
I started as a assistant manager in Tata Tea,
Right.
and then gradually rose up the ranks. Initially, I was managing regional brands like Gemini Dust and Chakra Gold Tea. Later, I launched Tata Tea Agni. And at some stage, I became the chief marketing officer of
Exactly. Right. From
of Tata.
there to CEO.
So that was a rise through the ranks. But thereafter, I made a choice to move from the tea business to the jewelry business.
Yeah.
That was an internal transfer within the Tata Group. But I'm so happy that I made that choice, Riddhi. I agonized over that choice because I had no clue about jewelry. I had gone with my wife exactly twice to jewelry stores during the first maybe 10 years of our
Decades
marriage.
of marriage. True.
Decades of marriage. And even those two times I had gone to a jewelry store, after a couple of minutes I had come out.
Yeah.
Okay, and she was doing the shopping. So the reason I feel I made a very good choice is because I moved from a zone of comfort to a zone of discomfort. Tea had become a zone of comfort. I knew a lot about the marketing and selling of tea. I had no clue about the marketing and selling of jewelry. And at the time, I was recruited as the marketing and retailing head of Tanishq. Tanishq was also not as prosperous a business as it is today. We still had a Damocles sword on our heads about whether the business would continue or not. I had a wonderful boss, Jacob Kurian, who was then the chief operating officer of the jewelry business, and I was his marketing and retailing head. Um, and he infused a lot of belief into the business. Yet, I had to learn a new category. I had to learn how women shop for jewelry. I had to learn how retail stores were run compared to tea, which used to go through a distribution channel to stockists.
Completely different.
I had to learn how advertising and marketing for jewelry, which is bought once or twice a year, is different from advertising and marketing for tea, which is bought every 15 days from the Kirana store.
Right.
Um, I had to learn how marketing for a product which costs 40,000 rupees is different from a product which costs 200 rupees.
Right.
So there were, and I had to learn to work with a new team. Because with the team in Tata Tea, I was very familiar and very comfortable. I also had to learn to work with a relatively new culture and a new team in Tanishq. So I think those learnings were very, very valuable. And I'm happy I made that choice because we were also in the midst of a turnaround of the business. And being part of a business which is turning around and helping, the consumer value proposition to come together, the business model to come together, profitability to happen, that is a defining stint in your life. So I'm very, very happy
Makes for a very good story also.
Yes, makes for a very good story as well, which in Tata Log I have written, the early story of Tanishq. Therefore, that choice was invaluable. And even until today, I tell people that if you're in a zone of comfort and if you're young enough, moving to a zone of discomfort will always help you evolve as a professional and as a person.
Was there a skill set that, do you think there can be a skill set or a way in which people can reinvent themselves within the same career cycle? Like, talk to today's generation and ask them to stick around to an organization for 38 years.
Yeah, I realize that. And I'm not saying, I have stuck to the Tata Group for 38 years, but no value judgments here. I also have friends who have moved between organizations quite often and have done very well in their careers. But in terms of a skill set to reinvent yourself, I think there are 2 or 3 ways you can do it. One is you move across categories. You move from one industry to another or one category to another. Then that helps you reinvent yourself because you have to think of an entirely new category. You have to think of consumers in that category. You have to think of competition in that category, all of which changes when you move. And that helps you to reinvent your thinking. The second, Riddhi, is to actually move functions. I have known people who have moved very successfully from a finance function to marketing, who have moved very successfully from HR to heading the business. I've known people who have moved from sales to marketing. I've known people who have moved, from marketing to retailing. So each of those functional shifts also help you reinvent yourself.
Build the character.
Because you learn new skills that are required in the new role.
Right.
But it also requires a lot of courage to do that. Because many people may feel I want to become a functional specialist in only one area. So it requires courage to do that, but it helps you reinvent yourself. The third way of reinventing yourself, Riddhi, is to live in a new geography. If you've been living, for instance, in Delhi all your life, and then you decide to come to Bombay, or you've been living in Bangalore and you decide to live in Hyderabad, or you decide to live in a country outside India.
Right.
Okay, the change in lifestyle, change in culture, change in food habits, change in language.
And to embrace that change.
To embrace that change, to become part of that change, also you need to reinvent yourself.
Right.
For me, for instance, I did all my schooling in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, most of my schooling, in places like Madurai, Coimbatore, Salem, Kollam. Therefore, when I went to Pilani for the first time, BITS Pilani, it was a culture shock for me. Of
course.
I had to speak Hindi. I had to eat rotis and not rice.
Yeah, rice. So
I had to eat dal and not sambar.
From idli sambar you had dal bati churma, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sure. In fact, I found it I found it very difficult to accept the fact that you can eat matri and halwa for breakfast from eating idlis and chutney and sambar. Okay, and then I had to face harsh winters and harsh summers. We don't have winters down south. the entire way of life was different in Pilani versus Tamil Nadu, but it also helped me reinvent myself.
Right.
When I look back, I think that is the best decision my parents and I made. To go and stay in a North Indian state for 4 to 5 years. It, uh, it, it just broadened my mind out. There is a completely different culture out there, completely different language out there, completely different food out there, that we should be open to accepting all these influences in my life.
To have people from across the country with not like the same wavelength.
I fell in love with Hindi film music with Kishore Kumar and Mohammad Rafi and Lata Mangeshkar and Asha Bhosle. I got to know Hindi swear words. So I now know when someone is saying something, is it a swear word or not? So there are many
important things to learn.
many reinventions which happened as a result of my going to Pilani.
One more thing. You have, out of all of this, one thing while we are at reinventing and what skill set helps. What is that one skill set that this is my personal thing also that I want to learn is how do you keep this consistency going? You don't miss a day when a LinkedIn post doesn't go out or your columns in the newspaper. It's been what, 2 decades of column writing?
So yes, sir, Riddhi. So I started writing marketing column for Hindu Business Line in 2008.
Yeah, it's the Curious Marketer.
The Curious Marketer. It was called the Curious Marketer later when the book got published, but 2008 onwards I've been writing for them. And being a columnist taught me the value of discipline. Because my editor finally has to create that page on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Yes.
So at least 2 days before that, he or she wants my column in.
Yeah.
And I cannot miss that deadline. And therefore, if you're a columnist, or it kind of automatically puts a discipline onto your writing. And that helped me a great deal when I wrote my books, because when I was in a full-time role, I would not get time over a weekday to write.
Of course.
Weekdays were completely immersed in my job in Tanishq or Titan or at Tata Sons. I would only get time to write over a weekend. But I would sit every Sunday morning at my laptop computer and I would write. And I would not get up from my laptop computer until I had written 1,000 words.
You have had the good fortune of working with some great leaders, including Mr. Tata. Discipline also must be one of the characters you must have observed in all these leaders as well.
Of course. All the great leaders I have worked with in the Tata Group have been very focused, very energetic, very passionate about their work, and very disciplined. And I guess when you are in a very senior role, like being the managing director of a company or the chairman of a company or the chairman of the Tata Group, this becomes even more important. Because, energy and passion are different from focus and discipline. You have to marry these together. And then you also have to bring to bear people and people leadership, the ability to inspire others. And you only inspire others when people see you as a role model. People don't get swayed by what corporate leaders only say. People watch corporate leaders.
True.
And people are intelligent enough to watch corporate leaders and make out if they're doing what they're saying or whether there's a gulf between the doing and saying.
It's very interesting that you say it now, because if we look at today's time and age, with the kind of lot of things going viral on internet and everything, and with all your meetings and town halls being on social, it's very important for a leader to be aware of the fact that the camera is always on. People are always watching, people are always seeing. So whatever, there's people often forget, okay, ye to off, like in journalism when we were entering the field, there used to be this term called ye off the record hai. Ye off the record hai ki on the record hai. So nowadays there's nothing off the record.
Ajkal, I agree with you.
Sab kuch on the record hi.
Everything is on the record, and I agree with you that, particularly in leadership positions, I've been very fortunate to have wonderful leaders that I've been able to work with. And I've admired their working style. I've admired the discipline. I've admired their courage. I've admired their vision, their ability to execute very well. Uh, but you're quite right. You know, once you've reached a certain position of leadership, your professional life, at least, is completely public.
Yep.
And people are observing you all the time. And therefore, it is important for leaders to bear this in mind.
Yeah, to set the right example.
Yes,
And
and this is not true only of the corporate world. It's true of sports teams. It is true of
everyone,
you know,
Bollywoods,
Bollywood, anywhere. Yeah,
politicians, everyone
it's true of
who's any role model.
that's right. It's true of all leaders, and I think it's very important to bear that in mind. I also think, Riddhi, that you know one of the fundamental jobs of leaders is to inspire and motivate their teams, because a leader is not a solo player. A leader is leading a large team, a large organization, a cricket team, or a music group, or whatever it is.
Could be any.
Or a university.
Yeah.
The ability to inspire and motivate your team is so important, because only then are you likely to get extraordinary performance.
Yeah, because you're setting that example high.
Yeah. And only then are people in your team likely to be really happy. So that's a fundamental job of leadership. If you do not wish to inspire and motivate people, you should not be a leader.
Yeah, true, because I think they sign up for this.
Yes.
As leaders. And I've also, just as you mentioned, have been really, really fortunate to have worked with the set of leaders who've never. I think a good leader always sees something in the other person.
Yeah.
And appreciates. It never makes he or she never makes it about themselves.
You're absolutely right. A good leader always works with a positive mindset. They're looking for, here is Harish. What are the strengths that Harish has?
Yes.
And how do we help him to leverage those strengths to do something which is hugely beneficial for the organization? So I think good leaders always have that positive mindset, and good leaders are always nurturing of their team members. And good leaders also are willing to invest time in your development.
Right.
Because if you're not willing to invest time in the development of your team members, and you're hoping that they will develop somehow and be able to deliver performance, then you're living in the hope. You have a responsibility, man. If you're a leader, you have to develop your team, team people. And I've had the good fortune to work with leaders who have spent a lot of time and a lot of quality time in giving me feedback. Sometimes very candid feedback, tough love, which has told me what I'm doing right and not right. But
how did you take that feedback?
Sometimes I was defensive. Sometimes I used to come back and sulk in my room and say, what is this guy telling me, particularly when I was younger.
Right.
But as I grew and as I gained in experience, I understood that constructive feedback is good for me and it helps me improve. That's true not only as a manager, it's also true as an author. For my latest book that I submitted, I wrote the manuscript, doing the right thing, learnings from Ratan Tata. I wrote the manuscript and I sent it to my editor in Penguin. It came back with hundreds of changes. This is not right. This is not consistent. This is, not flowing well. This sentence is too long. This paragraph doesn't make sense. By then I had realized that, I have to be open to those changes, because eventually at the end of the day, you want a book which is the best product when it goes to the market.
Right.
So I think that phase when I used to sulk, when I got tough love or critical feedback, it lasted for some time, but it gave way then to a more mature phase, I would guess, where I said, this feedback is good for me, and I need to see how I can deal with it and handle it. So I would say largely now I accept feedback which is critical. And then I think of it in my mind and I come to a conclusion. Is there something I can do about it? What should I do about it? Sometimes I may also come to the view that some feedback that I get is not correct after I think through it. In which case, then I don't work on it. But I may, in my mind, check with one more person or two more people. Are you observing
That's
this
a very
behavior?
good point. Yeah.
Are you observing this behavior in me?
True.
And if those people also say, yes, Harish, this is correct, then I have to do something about it.
Yes, Rich, you're losing it.
So, yeah, if they say, Harish, you're losing it, then I definitely have to do something about it. So sometimes I like to triangulate and check with a couple of other people.
I think that's something that I'll keep in mind.
And then you ensure 2-3 people independently giving you the same feedback means there is a big grain of truth. Yeah.
Okay. Coming to one more question around leadership itself. Was there some moment in your life when you felt lost? And which leader did you reach out to in that particular moment, if I may ask?
Yeah.
And you can
So,
may or may not answer also.
yes. So there are moments in my life when I felt lost. And I may not want to discuss the specific occasion with you because of some of the sensitivities involved. But when I was young, as a student, when I felt lost, I think I reached out to my parents. And they were able to, give me advice which helped me to resolve that particular matter. In my professional career, I think at the time when I had to decide whether to become an author and write, I was very passionate about it.
It's a very difficult choice to
But
make.
it was a difficult choice to make.
Right.
I had people, telling me, you are leaving the role of a chief operating officer to write a book. Are you sure about this? And I think that's a valid question because not many people make that choice.
Right.
So there, Riddhi, I think it was a long conversation with my wife, with Veena, which helped me come to clarity that this is something I really and very badly want to do. Even after my retirement from my full-time role, I have decided to give a lot more time to writing alongside the few corporate board responsibilities that I have. And I think that has happened because of that initial choice I made that I would like to be an author. So I think Veena has given me some very sound advice. And I think in a way, Riddhi, if you ask me, our partners or our spouses know us better than anyone else.
Anyone else. It's beautiful.
They live with us. They see our ups and downs.
There are no filters there.
There are no filters. They live with us. They see our ups and downs. They see us on the dais and they see us in the bedroom.
Yes.
Okay. And they know, our behavior in both.
Yes.
And
in the best and the worst.
Yeah. And therefore, I think they are in a very good position to evaluate what is really good for us. And if there is candid, unfiltered feedback that we can get from our partners or our spouses, I think that's probably going to be as accurate feedback as you can get from anyone. Therefore, I think the ability to sit down and have a conversation and seek that feedback or get that feedback becomes very, very important. And in addition, I think if you have a very good friend at the workplace who knows you very well and who has known you very well for a number of years and who has your best interests at heart, then I think feedback from such a person is also very, very valuable.
the reason I also wanted to continue with this conversation was that uh, I work with a lot of young people in the organization today, and I see a lot of them being hesitant to share the story or giving up, saying, okay, the work culture is toxic, or मुझे लगा ऐसा हो गया, या so I have seen that this freedom of sharing this with the parents or the partners or with colleagues is also something a lot of them are now keeping it to themselves. Could be because of digital devices, could be that I'm dinosaur era now, but I have seen a lot of them
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
And hence I wanted to understand, because all the decisions you've made so far have might just look very rosy now sitting as a third
Oh,
party.
yes, that is true. That is true. I
But
when I made those decisions, I was making those decisions taking risks.
they were
When I was moving from Tata Tea to Tanishq, it could have worked out, it may not have worked out.
it could
When
be
I
as a
decided to be an author, the first book I wrote could have bombed or could have done well.
exactly. So
So
always two
so there are
consequences
always
there. Right.
consequences which could have happened. But in all fairness, Riddhi, I think I have also become more open with age. I'm not sure in my 20s or 30s I would have been able to have as much of an open conversation as I am able to have now. So I think some of this comes with age and experience, but some of this also comes with the realization that it's sometimes okay to be vulnerable. Just because I am a corporate leader or just because I'm a best-selling author doesn't mean that everything is hunky dory. There are
that real and
yeah.
accepting of that.
So each of us has our bright sides. Each of us has our dark sides. We need to accept both. And sometimes, once in a while, the dark side manifesting itself is okay because that's part of who you are. Accepting that you're sometimes very stressed, or accepting that something you have done is a failure, or accepting that you have done something which has not worked out as it should have worked out, um, or accepting that in some situation you have not discharged your responsibility well enough. All these are points of vulnerability, and I think if you're human, you are vulnerable by nature.
True.
So anything else that you do is putting a mask always.
So before we end the show, today's episode, we have one more thing to do, and I think that's the right thing to do. Do you know what we are hinting about, Harish?
Yeah, when you said doing the right thing, I can guess where you're coming to. Yeah.
Yes, so Harish is launching his new book, and it's about Mr. Ratan Tata and doing the right things, learnings from Mr. Ratan Tata. Harish, before you actually unveil this for all our audiences, I would also want to know, they are not, though we have heard a lot of stories about Mr. Tata, what was your first encounter with him like?
So thank you, Riddhi. Thank you. And, I'm delighted to bring this book to Thought in a Dot. And this is a new book that I've written, which has just got released, Doing the Right Thing, Learnings from Ratan Tata. It's a story full of love. It's a book full of lovely stories from Ratan Tata's life. And it also has some very interesting and relevant lessons that we can carry over to our own lives. But back to your question, Riddhi, the first time that I met Mr. Ratan Tata. So I was a student at IIM Ahmedabad, and then my preliminary interview for the Tata Administrative Service had occurred in Ahmedabad. And then I had been shortlisted for the final interview. A few of us had been shortlisted from campus. And the final interview was at Bombay House, which is the headquarters of the Tata
Yeah.
Group. So the Tata Group told us, come across. And they sent us a flight ticket each to come from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, which was the first flight I was
Right,
taking
I'm sure that was
after a very, very, very long time. And we came here. I stayed in my uncle's house in Dadar in Mumbai. And my uncle then dropped me at Bombay House the morning of my interview. And the interview was in this wood-paneled boardroom on the 4th floor of Bombay House. And when I entered the interview hall or the interview conference room, there was a panel of about 6 or 7 directors on the other side who were the interviewers. And one of those interviewers was Ratan Tata. So that's the first time I actually interacted with him, if you can call an interview an interaction. But I do remember that he did his best to make me comfortable, asked me 1 or 2 preliminary questions just to settle me down on my seat. And then he began asking me a couple of questions during the interview itself. So that was my first interaction. And it's a fuzzy memory, but the memory I have is of a person who made me very comfortable and then asked me 1 or 2 deeper questions to understand things about me.
Before we close the episode, any last parting thoughts from your side about the episode? Any message for Thought on a Dot for us and for the audiences also?
So, Riddhi, I've actually lost track of time here talking to you. This was a lovely conversation because we explored some topics which are of common interest, which I think are of interest to all your viewers on the show.
Yes, please.
We explored, choices in life.
Yes.
We explored how do you achieve professional competence in your area
We
of
explored marketing. We
we
explored
explored
choices.
marketing. We explored what writing in an author means. We
Storytelling.
Storytelling. We explored discipline. We explored leadership.
Consistency.
Consistency. So many useful topics.
Yes.
So I lost track of time. But all I would like to leave our viewers behind is, one of the best ways, Riddhi, that we can get knowledge, new knowledge into our lives is by watching podcasts like this. One other good way is by reading books. One other good way is by spending time with people and new people whom I have never met before. But it's important to open yourself up to these new influences if you want to develop as a person and as a professional. So the message I would like to leave all our viewers behind with is, be open to new influences in your life and always keep learning. As long as you're learning, you're progressing. If you're not learning, you're dead.
Beautiful. I think 2 things that stayed with me throughout this was A, keep it simple. Always keeping it simple. Throughout this conversation, you made sure that it was communicated in the best way possible. Second, being agile and the ability to adapt with times is again something that you have shown throughout the journey that you have been on, and also shared with us that you've jumped onto all opportunities, you've taken time, yet adapted to the various flows, various roles that you have, you've embraced. So I think it was a very, very beautiful conversation. You gave me a lot of fodder to think. I'll also go back to know. I actually made notes. So yeah, so thank you so much, Harish, for being on the show. Lovely time with you, and look forward to having more such conversations with you in future as well.
Thank you so much, Riddhi. It's been a pleasure to be your guest on Thought in a Dot.
Yes.
And this conversation has been simply superb. It's flowed so well.
Yes, thank you so much. You connected all the dots well.